Welcome to The Backlash, a weekly exploration of America's awakening. I am your host, Rebecca Hargraves, joined as always by Mr. Dave Riley. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
How are you?
Pretty good. Well, no, I'm ass.
Yeah, you're ass.
Yeah.
You're not good.
No, I'm not, because my kids, we were just talking about this before the show, but like, what are kids getting in schools or around their friends? Like, what potent bioweapon are they bringing home that is causing me to get deathly ill? They're sick for one day. I'm on like day 9 of this. I want to kill myself.
I know that whooping cough was going around my daughter's school.
Is that what I have? Do I have?
Whooping cough. Well, are you whooping when you cough? Like,
I got some coughs. I'm going to try not to lose to ruin the audio. It's sneezing mostly right now. So
okay.
We're going to try to have a short show. We won't.
We won't.
As always.
Cameron.
How you doing, Cameron?
How are you?
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be.
Good evening and good night. Bye-bye.
Right.
You can find us on X at Real Backlash, our website, thebacklash.net. Support us on subscribestar.com/thebacklash, patreon.com/thebacklash. Send your super chats that will be read live at the end of our show to thebacklash.net/super chat to my YouTube channel. That is Blonde at the Belly of the Beast, or I might have changed it to Rebecca Hargraves. I know.
No, it's Blonde in the Belly.
What?
It's Blonde.
Oh, is it?
Isn't it?
You're watching it on YouTube probably, so you can super chat here. You can super chat on our YouTube channel, which is at Real Backlash. Sub to us on YouTube, on Rumble. Find us on Instagram, on TikTok. All of those links are on thebacklash.net/subscribe. Remember that we only read $10 and up.
Yes.
On Wednesdays.
And I've got a quick housekeeping note. The crypto super chat thingy that we built for the website, we're in between servers on that. We're migrating to Rumble servers as opposed to Amazon. And so in the meantime, I invite you all to follow us on Primal app. It's like a decentralized social media app. And if you send us zaps there, over 10,000 sats, we will read them out loud. So please follow us on Primal.
I don't endorse this because I don't know. I literally have no idea what you just said.
It's an app. It runs on the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So if like any government ever decides to like shut down Twitter,
you don't have to tell me. I can't endorse this yet.
It's okay. We'll get you.
If it works,
pull you along, kicking and screaming.
What's going on in the background? Are those balloons real, or am I looking at an optical illusion?
You're just drunk.
No, they're real.
Do you know why?
Do you know why we have these balloons?
Because you guys are posh and fabulous, obviously.
It is the 1-year anniversary of this podcast. 1 year. I didn't know you were going to do that.
Really? Is it? Holy cow.
I know. My tea.
I'm going to have to clean this up later. Oh my God, it got in the wall. Happy anniversary, everybody.
Holy cow.
Get out of here.
Year, huh?
Yes,
Yeah.
we have been doing this for 1 year. And I read an interesting statistic the other day. Dave likes to send me stuff right before I lose my mind. I know things are hard, but check this out. Over 90% of people that do a podcast quit within the first year.
Not only that, but 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 20.
Oh, okay.
So
we're going strong here.
We're going strong. Yeah, we're doing something that most people can't do.
So I want to thank the audience.
Why is it 20? What's the...
I don't know. People just lose steam. Odd. They wind up saying everything that they wanted to say, or they find out that it actually isn't a very lucrative business to be in.
Right. You pretty much,
you're basically
for
poor.
about a year, you don't make basically any money.
And even if you get to a year, you still may or may not be making any money. Listen, I'll tell you, there was a free food pickup that I went to today. We do this every now and again. I think, white people need to take as much advantage of the system as humanly possible. But I'm sitting there in line behind a Tesla Model Y to get like free food. 450 cars today in Post Falls alone.
Well,
people are not doing well out there in this economy.
Yeah, but it's probably a lot of people that are doing fine.
Not a lot of podcasters. Let me tell you that. But it is crazy.
Man,
it's crazy.
A big thanks to our new sponsor, Above Time Coffee Roasters.
Yes.
Those are small batch delicious coffees. We had some on Monday. We had the blonde roast on Monday. It was excellent. And coincidentally, Emily Yukas, who we interviewed on Monday, was also drinking Above Time coffee. We didn't talk to her about it. Yeah, she likes hers. She's into it.
Please visit their website, abovetimecoffee.com. We'll make sure to put the link in the show notes below. And there is a discount code.
It is Backlash10, I've been told.
Backlash10 will get you 10% off, not only at Above Time Coffee Roasters, but also at Antelope Hill Publishing. So if there's any books that you've been wanting to buy, but they're just a little bit too expensive. 10% off.
10% too expensive, but you're like, oh, okay.
Get the Jew discount. Backlash 10 at Antelope Hill.
Don't say that. They're going to email us.
We're going to get dropped.
And also, of course, Idaho Tallow. Those are skincare items with no endocrine disruptors. Thank you so much. Dave.
Yes.
On Monday.
What?
Dave gave me flowers.
I did.
Cheese and delicious chocolates. And he apologized. And I was like, save it for Monday. He's like, no, I'm going to do it. Or save it for Wednesday. He's like, no, I'm going to do it on Monday when none of our normal viewers are watching. And I was like, no.
That was not the calculus.
In the outline under banter, I put Dave makes humble pie. I should have written again.
Well, I wanted to re-apologize to everybody for calling them retards. That was uncalled for. And, you know.
I am going to be the bigger person here.
If the shoe fits, I mean, you know, people in my friend circle call me that all the time. So
I can't imagine anybody thinking Cameron's a retard. I would also like to apologize to you, Dave, for not voting in what could have been a pivotal election.
Ooh, true.
It took everything I had to say that. I quit. I'm tired.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
No. Cameron, I was going to get you flowers too, but
Is this a sorry off? An I'm sorry off?
Yeah.
I'm sorrier than you.
But I'm
well,
not.
I didn't get any flowers, but I got these weird selfies from Dave at some random hour in the wee morning. So I'm a little concerned about that.
And lots of pictures of his hobbit feet, which I've never actually seen. But somehow, looking at your face, I know what your feet look like. I can just tell.
Well, I'll tell you that the second toe in is not longer than the first.
I knew it. And I bet you've got a hairy big toe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, and all your toes are the same length.
They're flat.
Yeah,
it's like at an angle. It's like
and
a 45 degree
degree wide,
angle.
no arch.
They are wide, and I have arch problems. Little flat footed. Physiognomy queen.
I know. Woo.
Unbelievable.
I don't even want to talk about the CDA police report. I don't.
Well,
really
then
care.
let's talk about this first.
Employees.
Some quick stories.
Some guy up here in Post Falls took a bulldozer to a house, kind of like Killdozer, except I think less awesome, frankly. Yeah. Rumor has it that he was a contractor that didn't get paid, got drunk, and then took a giant bulldozer to this house.
You know, I have strong feelings about property rights and all this other stuff, but I got to say, my instinct when I saw this, it just made my heart swell, and it made me feel so good. I can't really explain it.
For a split second, I finally thought that, maybe people have finally had enough of the development. They've had enough of like the Section 8 type housing going into Post Falls. But no, it wasn't that. The building will continue unabated. This was just one pissed off drunk guy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I will say the CDA police report, we don't have to read the whole thing because it's boring and nobody cares.
Let me pull it
up. But for our incident of swatting IRL.
Was that swatting?
I don't know. In the police report, when we were leaving, one of the cops said, well, thank you for not causing a big ruckus when you left. And I said, that's because we're white. And they did write that up in the police report.
Bro, what does it say?
Wait, it's in the last paragraph. Can you read the last
paragraph? I'm trying to zoom in. Let's see.
They did express that they would find another place to congregate in the city of Coeur d'Alene. They also assured us that they would cooperate with law enforcement and not cause issues because they are, quote, white.
Rebels with a cause. Rebels with a cause.
It is just amazing, though. Casey Whalen, go follow him if you're not following him. He did put out some investigative journalism on this. He actually got a phone call with the owner.
Story. There was a group of people.
I listened to it later. Nobody's going to care.
Nobody's going to care about this, but it is worth checking out at Casey_Whalen, WHALEN.
He is the best kind of weaponized autism.
Yeah.
That guy loves filling out FOIA requests.
Oh, yeah. He likes forms.
Oh, yeah.
He was down at the legislature last week, leaving through the minutes of legislative sessions in 1984.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, he texted me today and he's like, oh, I got these documents and I submitted these requests and then I called this. I'm like, I've already forgotten that this happened. Thank you for following up, Casey. We love you. So we're going to be talking this crazy 50-year mortgage, $2,000 stimulus, Trump's disastrous interview with Laura Ingraham, Sam Parker Elijah lawsuit, which I think there's not much there, but we're still going to address it. Trump Epstein emails, which blew up today, but I'm starting to think there's no there. We will talk about it though.
Yeah.
I don't know. maybe he is implicated by this, but I don't think it's going to be the big thing that makes everybody on the right address the Trump Epstein connection.
Probably not.
All of this and more on this week's installment of your favorite podcast. I stole that from the Matt and Blonde Show. I'm just going to keep ripping off my old podcast.
This is a lot of people's favorite show, though.
Yep, maybe.
There were a lot of people. I went to this conference in Oregon over the weekend. It was the largest gathering of dissident nationalists in the Pacific Northwest in 30 years.
Whoa.
A lot of people watched the show. Very
That's really
interesting.
cool. That's
I like
really
it.
cool.
Very appreciative.
It also makes me think you guys should be doing something better with your time.
No. What, these people watching? They've got nothing better to do.
Let's talk
They
Elijah.
need the news. They need
Elijah
the
Sam.
news.
Okay, let's pull up a picture of Kash Patel and his sweetheart. Now, can anybody look at this picture and not just assume that she's a honeypot based on based upon the disparity in attractiveness?
Over the weekend, I received.
Wait, I didn't pull it in, but you can.
Okay,
say
hold
it.
on. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Like, do I need to go look for this? Let's see, Kash Patel, girlfriend.
All right, this chick, stone cold fox, absolute stone cold fox. I think she's like 16 years younger than she is. She's independently wealthy. She's a singer or something like that.
Country singer.
Kash Patel, total troll.
Look at it.
Face symmetry problems. He's Indian. Like, I can just look at this and be like, honeypot. Honeypot. I shouldn't keep saying honeypot.
Because now we're going to get sued. I totally disavow. Kash Patel's girlfriend has done nothing wrong. Believe all women.
Listen,
Hashtag.
she's just too hot for him. And he's not high enough status or rich enough for this discrepancy to make sense to me. Everybody's looking at this and they're like, what? Anyway, she has sued our friend Elijah Schaefer, our dear friend Sam Parker, for claiming that she is a honeypot. The problem is, although Sam definitely did say
And
outright
Kyle,
that she
you
was
don't forget Kyle Seraphin.
Oh, yeah. Although Sam definitely said this for sure explicitly, Elijah did not. He actually never said that she is a honeypot. Can you pull up this first clip, please?
Yes, I can. Bloop.
Before anyone jumps to conclusions and says, well, don't say that she's a honeypot, I'd like to say, I never
That's so
did.
good.
I never would. I never felt like suggesting that, never even suggested that in my own head. So why am I being sued for something I never did? To give proof of that, in section 14 of the lawsuit, it states, while the defendant may not have included any caption to spell out the meaning of his post, he didn't have to. Ever since Kash Patel was appointed as director of the FBI in February of 2025, the conspiratorial corners of the internet and social media have been spreading false narratives about Miss Wilkins as an Israeli Mossad agent, spy, or quote, honeypot, who is only in the relationship with Kash Patel to spy on and manipulate the United States government.
That's good.
Defendants' wordless
So the problem with this is that Elijah didn't even say anything explicit. So I don't know what the basis of this defamation lawsuit is, because what they're saying here is that it's the general consensus of the conspiratorial internet that she may or may not be a Mossad honeypot. So he didn't have to say it. Like, are we really going to be issuing defamation suits based on somebody's implied speech? It's so insane to me. Anyway, can you pull up this Kyle Seraphin tweet, who was also sued for the same reason, and the suit came from a very suspicious place. Okay, I'm so blind. This Elijah Schaefer tweet got the same lawsuit for the same amount of money from the same law firm as I got. The firm is Binal Law, which is run by Jay Benali, who is also the president of the Kash Foundation, formerly Fight with Kash. They share a physical address location per their website. Some people have said that this is debunked, but other people have said that Kash himself is helping to file these lawsuits, which obviously is a conflict of interest. I've listened to some lawyer takes on this, that this is just not going to go anywhere. But I find it troubling that they would even bother. I find it troubling that they would even bother with this.
True. I'm just saying, like, we're like one step away. Look at this. Also, I lost a lot of weight since this
Oh
picture
my
was
God.
taken.
Did you lose 700 pounds?
70.
Good
Like
Lord.
70 pounds. But anyway, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that this means anything for the rest of the movement, but like the idea that Kash obviously was advising her on this. You think they didn't talk about it? There's no pillow talk about this.
I just think that this kind of marks a pivot in the behavior of the occupying Zionists that control our country and our government, that they're going to be using lawfare against people like us, that they're just going to be, malicious. I mean, it's very clearly a slap lawsuit. When you go through the whole video and you read and you watch,
there's just nothing there.
There's nothing there. Yeah. There's absolutely nothing there.
But where is Kash Patel? If she was self-motivated, where's Kash Patel being like, don't do this. It's going to reflect poorly on the FBI, on my association with you. There's nothing here. Like, why would he fund this? Cameron, what do you think?
On this particular issue, I don't. Much. I don't know. Maybe they met on eHarmony. Who the hell knows? Maybe he went to Andrew Tate's war room and became a certified player. I have no idea.
No, but why do you think Kash would allow this? It's a really dumb lawsuit based on nothing that makes the FBI look stupid.
Maybe he's thin-skinned and he thought he could get away with it. I honestly have no idea, but it makes for good social media play. And man, a lot of these people online, they are melodramatic, are they not? Oh, yeah. I think they wanted to get sued so they could make content about it.
Hey, we love Elijah and Sam, but please don't sue us.
No, don't sue us. I was just going to say, you reminded me of another conspiracy theory about like whether or not this guy like met his girlfriend on eHarmony. Like, go look it up. Go look and see who owns Tinder.
Is it Jews?
Go see who owns Bumble. It's all owned by Match Group.
Match.com too?
Match Group.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it is also Match.com, which was the name Match Group.
That's why I'm married.
Well, I'm just saying, it's interesting, right? I mean, like, imagine if Jews were controlling who white, Christians were going to mate with and meet with. That's an interesting vector of attack.
I think my husband's a Fed.
Well, maybe.
We met the week I started my YouTube channel.
There you go. Proof positive. For a while there, I thought my wife was CIA.
That is so paranoid.
No, it's not. Both of her grandparents were CIA. So I'm just like, I don't know.
We're in trouble.
Maybe we're CIA.
Da da da.
I should get a better soundboard.
This is not what we're talking about this week. This seems like such a nothing story, but because we love Sam and we love Elijah, I was like,
please go support them. I don't know if they have a legal defense fund or anything.
Elijah started a GoFundMe, but the link was broken when I looked yesterday.
Great. So. Okay. Well, anyway, find out how to support them because this is ridiculous. This is the canary in the coal mine, right? Like they're going after the first round of people, and they'll keep going. They'll keep going. Right down the list. I mean, they're going to have to sue half of the people on Twitter.com.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be suing half of fucking America.
Half my tweets are outright defamation of somebody.
Yeah. Well, you think in America that you can comment on like a public figure, like, I don't know, the head of the FBI, and like one person saying something on Twitter. But that's just it. Elijah didn't even say anything. His tweet was literally, and we've got the tweet up. This is the tweet that he's being sued over.
That's it?
This is it. He didn't even type anything. He didn't even type a message. He just retweeted this account that said, Mossad sent female operatives deep into Iran, seducing top officials, infiltrating government surveillance networks, and carrying out sabotage missions. It's one of the most audacious operations in human history, blah, blah, blah. Talking about how Mossad does this by setting people up with women. And then all he did was tweet this picture of Kash Patel and his girlfriend.
He could just say he was joking. JK. Let's talk this Trump interview.
Jeez.
Even for Trump, this interview was an unmitigated disaster from beginning to end. Andrew Torba had a hilarious tweet that I wanted to read. Trump's message to the American people this week: you're too dumb to build things. We need 500,000 Jeets a year to fill the jobs. You're too dumb for college. We need 600,000 Chinese to fill the school slots. You're too poor. Here's a 50-year mortgage and a one-time petty check for $2,000. You're not struggling financially. The stock market is doing great. Here's my new gold-plated room in the White House. Truly, that sums up the entire interview. That's it. That's the whole interview. We want to talk about this a little bit. Let's pull up Trump economy and watch as he bloviates about our excellent, wonderful economy that he created.
It's going so well, folks. You have really no idea how wonderful it is.
But I think we are doing phenomenally well. This is the greatest economy we've ever had. They're talking points. Oh, course are high. By the way, the only thing is beef.
Coffee.
Is a little high because the ranchers are doing great.
The only thing,
coffee,
he
we're
says.
going to lower some tariffs. We're going to have some coffee come in. We're going to take care of all this stuff very quickly, very easily. It's surgical. It's beautiful to watch. But our costs are way lower. Now, Walmart came out with a statement that they do every year for many, many decades. And they said that a Thanksgiving meal costs 25% less this Thanksgiving, coming up, think of that, than it did last Thanksgiving under Sleepy Joe Biden. That's a 25% reduction. I think that's right. And if you remember when I first came in, the first 2 days I had a news conference, eggs, they were hitting me with eggs. Eggs had quadrupled in price. And they're screaming at me. I said, I just got here. I didn't know about eggs. And Brooke Rollins, our agricultural commissioner, secretary, did a great job. And now eggs are what they were. We got eggs down. We get it all down. But our prices are much lower. Their line is price is affordability. That's the new word, affordability. It's much less expensive under Trump. And I haven't been here long. 9 months is not a long time. But look at what I've done to energy. Look at the price of gasoline. Going from $4.50 to $2.50 or $2.70, it's going to be $2 gasoline.
People want affordable.
Well, the economy is my thing, and we have the greatest economy in history.
Are Republicans not selling it enough?
Yes.
The
Oh my
Republicans
God!
aren't selling
He
it.
goes on to say, this clip is already too long, but he goes on to say that it's the Republicans that aren't properly representing the economy, that they're failing to talk about it, and that's the reason that people think that the economy was bad. It's not on a day-to-day basis. People can't afford their groceries. He just cherry-picked a few things that are doing better than they were under Biden, and he's acting like our economy is doing great. No, billionaires are doing great. The average American is struggling. I mean, even the things that he talked about, I'm like, I don't care about eggs and about Thanksgiving dinner costing $15 less. Like, we're talking about day-to-day things. We're talking about jobs and access to jobs. We're talking about housing.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, look at the on-the-ground shit that's going on. 450 people in Post Falls, Idaho, going to a food bank on a Wednesday in November. The average house cost up here is $550,000.
Yeah.
It's not exactly like Poorville.
He has a solution for that, though.
Oh, really?
The 50-year mortgage.
Oh, dear God. I tweeted about this, and it has gone, it's still going, I mean, I guess only 21,000 views, so I'm being rate limited or whatever, but I've been inundated. People are pissed. People are very pissed. Did you see this clip?
Yeah, of course.
Is it in this? Is it in the outline?
Yes.
Bless you. Are you sneezing?
It's happening.
What's going on?
It's okay. Let's talk about the 50-year mortgage first.
Okay, this thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, White House officials are furious with Bill Pulte, the Federal Housing Finance Agency director, who talked the president into suggesting a 50-year mortgage plan. The White House was blindsided by the idea, according to blah, 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 anonymous person. On Saturday evening, Pulte arrived at President Donald Trump's Palm Beach, blah, 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 blah. A graphic of former President Franklin Roosevelt appeared below 30-year mortgage and one of Trump's 50-year mortgage. The headline was Great American Presidents. Roughly 10 minutes later, Trump posted the image to Truth Social. Almost immediately, aides were fielding angry phone calls from those who thought the idea, which would endorse a 50-year payback period for a mortgage, was both bad politics and bad policy, a move that could raise housing costs in the long run. He's just sold POTUS a bill of goods that wasn't necessarily accurate, the person said. He said, FDR did it. You can do it. It's going to be a big thing. So that worked on him. But he didn't tell him about the unintended consequences, which I think were obvious. We do have that graphic from Truth Social if you want to pull it up. It's like the most, it's so blind. Yeah.
Bro.
Incredible. Donald Trump posting this about himself.
What the heck? He's really fallen off, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Let's watch what he says with Laura Ingraham about the 50-year mortgage. His just total lack of understanding about what this is really going to do.
Housing costs are still out of reach. And another thing that your administration is trying to tackle, many Americans, the average age of first-time home buyers are now up to age 40, which is sad. The country you and I grew up in.
I inherited that. Look, you have to understand.
Right, but let me get to the question, though, because your housing director has proposed something that has enraged your MAGA friends, which is this 50-year mortgage idea. So a significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you go from 40 to 50 years. And what happens is you pay something less from 30. That some people had a 40, and then now they have a 50. All it means is you pay less per month. You
has a
pay it over
40?
a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. It might help a little bit. But the problem was that Biden did this. He increased the interest rates. And I have a lousy Fed person who's going to be gone in a few months.
That's just unreal. First of all, who has a 40-year mortgage term? You know anybody that has
No.
anything beyond a 30-year mortgage term? Let's look at the reality of the 50-year mortgage and how much interest this adds. So a loan amount of $300,000, which, you know, is just impossible here. That's like a trailer. Interest rate, 6.26 annual fixed rate. The loan type, fully amortizing fixed rate mortgage with monthly payments, no additional costs. Okay. 30 years, the monthly payment is $1,800. The total payment, $662,000. Total interest payment, $362,000. For 50 years, the loan payment is marginally reduced at $1,600. The total payments go up to $960,000, and the total interest paid, $660,000. The extra interest versus a 30-year loan for a 50-year loan is nearly $300,000. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I read all that right? I'm kind of blind.
It's 82% more.
Just incredible. But it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Also, a man that's worked in real estate his entire life is acting like people are just walking around now like everybody has a 40-year mortgage term. It's like, what are you talking about,
it's
dude?
just so stupid, too, because he's like, oh, well, don't worry, the monthly payment is less. They'll be spending less money.
It's like, what planet
What
are
planet
you
are you
on?
living on? Yeah.
This is not costing people less. It's more.
Yeah.
Hello?
Can you pull this up? We call
This
it
is
the
what
50-year
happens.
mortgage.
This is what happens when you have a bunch of homos running the economy.
This is what happens when you have a bunch of Jews running the economy.
Well, homosexual Jews.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
true. Big true. Which one do you want?
Usury questions. This is what it is. They want us enslaved into a debt system for life. We call it the 50-year mortgage.
Oh, geez.
That's it. I think that this is such a boneheaded idea. And honestly, I kind of don't believe that Donald Trump doesn't understand what these unintended consequences are. People are always acting like he's so stupid. This is basic college economics, like really basic stuff.
And it's within his wheelhouse being a real estate guy.
Exactly.
He doesn't not know what he's doing.
There's no way. Cameron, do you really think he doesn't understand what the
Math.
externalities of this is?
Well, look, Trump does understand real estate and he does understand business. His father understood those things very well. I suspect he does as well. But just as an aside, I didn't know this. I was looking at this while you guys were talking. But if you look at Polt, I think that's how you say it. He's the Federal Housing Finance Agency director. Where did he come from? He came from private equity.
Ooh.
And as of 2021, he's worth $100 million. So he was part of Forbes 30 under 30. All right. That's who's running this particular agency. And you'll find people like this throughout Trump's administration. Frankly, it doesn't matter. Biden, Obama, Bush, they're all the same. But what you're hearing is, I think, two things. One is a derivation of the past, because Trump's administration, like his predecessors, it's not unique to him. They're bankrupt. They don't know what else to do. So they're reaching back to the New Deal, and they think that resuscitating old ideas like the 30-year mortgage, which comes from FDR, among a whole range of housing reforms that happened, post stock market crash in 29. And then obviously you had the Depression, some of which were reforms that we did need, because you used to have these balloon loans where you would make 50% of the payment up front. And if you couldn't make that 50% payment for the house, you didn't get a house. So a lot of people were priced out of the market. On the one hand, it's derivative. That's where it comes from. It's FDR's brain trust, which, lest we forget, that's basically 100 years ago. Secondly, it's the product of Wall Street. And the goal is every bit, as you said, Rebecca, it is to compound interest. And if you think about the entire way our system is structured, this is basically an apotheosis of that, right? So as an 18-year-old kid, what do? Well, you contract a debt. You take out a loan so that you can go to college. So then you go to college and you get out and you get a job so that you can pay off your student loans. But then you meet a girl and that girl says, hey, if you want to marry me, we got to buy a house. So you contract another debt. And then you end up essentially servicing these debts your entire life. And the 50-year mortgage is probably a more accurate representation of what actually happens. Most people never really pay their debt off, which is interesting because the term mortgage itself comes from the Middle Ages and it means death pledge. I looked that up earlier today. Pretty interesting. So that's more or less where we are. Obviously, we know it's not going to work. Obviously, we know it's at the behest of Wall Street, who really runs Trump's administration. It's one of the major factions behind him. This is what produced people like Howard Lutnick. That's where Scott Bessent, who's his Treasury Secretary, comes from. Witkoff is, I believe, another real estate developer / Wall Streeter. It's all the same kind of folks. It's not going to work, right? The debt bubble itself, I think, is beginning to demolition. When these things happen, historically, the answer was a debt jubilee. And that's eventually what's going to happen. Whether it happens by mandate, and I sincerely doubt that, meaning that a president or a figure like that decrees that there will be a debt jubilee and we essentially start over, or the market imposes it on us, which I think is more realistic, that's where we are. That's what's going to happen. And that's required because the fact of the matter is that if you're under 40 in this country, you cannot afford a house whatsoever. In fact, I looked it up earlier today. The average age for a median home buyer today is 40 years old. That's the highest on record, if I'm not mistaken. And just to button up the point, and this is astounding, the income needed to purchase an average home in the United States has increased 80% in just the last 5 years. I believe that's according to Zillow. Wow. You need $92,000 of income per year. That's basically 2x the average to afford a home as of January 2025. A 50-year mortgage isn't going to do anything but continue to prop that bubble until it bursts. Mm-hmm. So he's bankrupt on the one hand, he works for Wall Street on the other, and it's not the solution in between.
No, I mean, is this 2K stimulus even worth mentioning? He's saying that he's going to give people $2,000 back also.
Yeah, and they were clarifying today that it would basically be anybody that makes under $100,000 a year.
Great. I mean, $2,000. Cool. Awesome.
But it's
in the
also
form of
going
a
to be
tax return, I think.
Yeah, but it's also going to be directly inflationary. No matter any, if you give people printed money, no matter if they're coming from tariffs or whatever, it's going to lead to higher inflation.
Of course. Yeah.
What is particularly alarming, though, I mean, look, for most of American history, especially in the 20th century, most presidents have been able to rely upon a relatively strong economy. I mean, Reagan had a very bad recession in 82, and we basically rocketed right out of it. We had a stock market crash in 87, didn't even have a recession. There was a bit of a skid in the early 90s, and then we had a very bullish rest of the decade, right? And again, we had 2008, which was a meltdown, and they were able to sort of prop it up by buying all that toxic debt, QE, and all the rest of it. This is something different. And unfortunately, we have a president who has a pattern of behavior. And I think, frankly, he's made a career of this. And that is, there is no reality with him. There's just the talking points. There's just the marketing. And I saw an example of this after his trip to South Korea. So Trump was recently in South Korea where he had a big summit with President Xi of China. And what came out of the Trump administration was that this was a massive success, that they basically got everything that they wanted from the Chinese, and I think U.S. stocks rallied and so forth. Well, what's interesting about that is just like the summit that was held in Alaska with the Russians, the actual readout of what the Russians said about the meeting after Putin met with Trump, and what the Chinese said about the meeting after Xi met with Trump this past month, that was totally different. And one of the statements I saw, and I think this sums it up, he said, once again, Trump negotiated with his own imagination and declared victory over reality. The danger in this, of course, is that's all fine and good if most people can pay for their groceries. Even as bad as the illegal immigration issue is, you can kind of get away with that. But now, as you guys point out, people are desperate. And most of the country is dependent on the government. So he is walking himself into a hall of mirrors that's going to shatter all around him and may force him out of office. I mean, this is something I've talked about before, and people don't really know what to make of it when I say this. But look, if he breaks the economy, you're going to see a feverish anti-government resentment spiral all over the country, and he will bear the blame for it. And this talking point that he continues to use, blaming Biden for all the problems and then taking credit for all the things that are good, that shit ain't going to work. It's just not going to work. And the danger is, I don't think he has anything else in his bag. I think that's it. That's all he's got.
And he's running up against some of the sentiments from the right that have become very strong. As Cameron has been saying this whole time, the Epstein files are not going to go away. Neither is this anti-Israel sentiment. Can you pull up this Pardon Bibi letter?
I've got this one.
Yeah. I'm totally blind. Can you read a little bit of this? I'll get my glasses.
Dear Mr. President, it is my honor to write to you at this historic time as we have together just secured peace that has been sought for at least 3,000 years. I hereby thank you and all Israelis again for your gracious and warm hospitality, and am addressing a key topic of my speech at the Knesset. As the great state of Israel and the amazing Jewish people move past the terribly difficult times of the last 3 years, I hereby call on you to fully pardon Benjamin Netanyahu, who has been a formidable and decisive wartime prime minister and is now leading Israel into a time of peace, which includes my continued work with key Middle East leaders and many additional countries in the world, changing Abraham Accords.
And then he kisses Netanyahu's ass. It's, bloviates a little bit. No surprise here. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of meat here, but this is where his priorities are. And then we saw these Epstein emails come out today, if you can pull up this AP News article. So for those of you that haven't heard, have there been any developments in this in the last 2 hours? I hope not.
I mean, people have been combing over what's there, and there's a lot of correspondence with journalists between Epstein and certain journalists.
Okay, if I miss any of the highlights, please let me know. Democrats in the House Oversight Committee released 3 emails referencing Trump, including one Epstein wrote in 2011, in which he told confidant Ghislaine Maxwell that Trump had spent hours at Epstein's house with a sex trafficking victim, which we now know is Virginia Giuffre. I always want to call her Giuffre. The disclosure seemed designed to raise new questions about Trump's friendship with Epstein and about what knowledge he may have had regarding Epstein exploiting underage girls. The version of the 2011 email released by the Democrats redacted the name of the victim. We know who it is now. The emails were made public Wednesday as part of a batch of 23,000 documents provided by Epstein's estate to the Oversight Committee. So let me read this email. In April 2nd, 2011, email to Maxwell, Epstein wrote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump," a redacted name, which is Virginia, "spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, et cetera. I'm about 75% sure there." So I think that he's saying that he's not gonna talk. And she said, "I've been thinking about that." There's also some correspondence about how this can be with Michael Wolff about how this can be leveraged politically. So Giuffre did say that Trump couldn't have been friendlier. I think that she was under oath when she said that they had only met one time in a platonic way. I don't know if she lied under oath, if this is a nothing burger, but we have long held the position that Trump probably had some sort of relationship with Jeffrey Epstein that would not bode well for MAGA. I don't really know how far that goes. I have a hard time believing that they wouldn't have come out with this earlier if it was really substantial. But there is something there. Like, he didn't just know him because they were rich people living in Palm Beach. Trump's track record with women is scandalous. It's absolutely scandalous. So I wouldn't be surprised. But is this going to take down MAGA? I don't know. I don't think people care.
I mean, I think people do care. It's trending on Twitter.
That's true.
It's like everyone is talking about it.
Well, everyone's like, what came from Democrats? I'm like, I don't give a shit.
It doesn't matter if it comes. If you're going to sit there and be a pedophile apologist because it's a Democrat making the accusation as opposed to a Republican, you've really lost the fucking plot.
Yeah.
Like, hello?
Why don't you guys just release the Epstein files? We want the Epstein files.
Everybody wants the Epstein files.
There's a couple things, right? The first is that I think a lot of this is self-inflicted. I'm with you, Rebecca. I'm not sure that there's much fire there. There may be more smoke. It strikes me that in this case, the cover-up is worse than the actual crime. But remember, a lot of people, including Kash Patel, Mr. Ladies Man himself, they stood on arresting Epstein or releasing the files or bringing justice to light. And Trump concurred with that, right? So that's the first problem. And then the second is it just didn't explain. They didn't handle, in a public relations sense, exactly what they've got. Now, I don't know, again, I don't know if that's just a jumbled mess because of incompetency or because if something else is there. What I do know is that Dave is 100% right. This is not going to go away. And whether there is no there or not, it has tarred Trump. There's no question about it. And he's going to be associated with Epstein. And this is going to continue on until we get a clear answer one way or the other. And I do think we will.
Yep.
I still maintain that I think the Epstein files do contain within them something that's potentially lethal for the entire government. And what exactly that is, I do not know. I do think Trump, if he's involved at all, is probably on the periphery. But that's more likely the reason why those files haven't really gone anywhere. But if the Trump team, if their public relations had been better, they probably could have avoided this. As it stands, they royally screwed up. But this is an example of what I said a moment ago. If you promise people the world and you do not deliver, eventually people are going to start calling you on your bullshit. And the Epstein fiasco is an example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it draws more attention to the suicide of Virginia Jeffrey. I mean, there's just no way she killed herself. Like, we're supposed to believe this.
I don't think that she did. And, listen, I know I'm kind of on the weird side of the internet. I get it. But I think of all the people that have spoken about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, about the connection with Donald Trump, if there's like one guy that has like been pretty consistent with what he's saying, it's Chuck Johnson, actually. And Chuck was out here a while ago talking about how Virginia Jeffrey was a liar and had connections to the Mormon world. And if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, she was sex trafficked by another like a Russian Jewish guy down to Florida in the first place. So there's a lot of weird unanswered questions about the whole thing and how they've attempted to manage the Jeffrey Epstein situation and turn it into this partisan thing. It's not partisan. I mean, Steve Bannon was working for Jeffrey Epstein. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. It's actually really quite crazy.
Yeah.
The amount of collateral damage that the Epstein thing exposes. And it's not just the sex trafficking stuff. His financial crimes were arguably more impactful on America than the sex trafficking was. And that's to say nothing of what was the sex trafficking about. Was it blackmail for Israel? And then you get this whole Iran-Contra network that he was involved with wrapped up into it.
People act like this is so highly conspiratorial, but there is major historical precedent for people in government and people in church associations getting deeply involved in sex trafficking rings and financial fraud. Didn't this happen in Portugal? And it was like every high-level person in the country was involved.
Boys Town?
Yeah.
Right? You remember there was that was the Republicans in Nebraska being accused of sex trafficking children, bringing them in buses to Washington, D.C. where
the Catholic Church?
The Catholic, Opus Dei, definitely. Opus Dei was doing something called the Sodalico down in Argentina that apparently the Pope covered up, allegedly. Our new Pope may have had a hand in covering up some of
these things happen. It is well documented. These kinds of frauds have been unraveled before in the public eye, and it's not conspiratorial to think that many people in government are involved in something like this.
To quote our new leader, Mamdani, what did he say? He said something to the effect of like, if the Epstein files release risk the collapse of the government, then your government doesn't deserve to exist.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. The hand-eating Muslim in New York, actually.
Well, I mean, the thing that's striking about all of this is how utterly systemic it really is. I mean, there's a scandal in Great Britain involving Keir Starmer, who has covered up crimes that relate to pedophilia. You've got implications with the British monarchy that people have talked about for years.
Jimmy Savile.
I know that there are rumors about Macron in France. I mean, the sense is that all of the elites, and this is par for the course as far as this podcast is concerned, because we've talked about this a long time. The systemic rot, right? It's not just that there's corrupt money in politics. It's not just that you have a Jewish lobby. It's not just that you have foreign interest groups like the Cubans, among others. There seems to be this dark underworld that entraps people, blackmails them, extorts them, and then props them up so that they run these governments. And that's, I think, really why Epstein and his criminality, however deep it goes, won't go away. Because I think people sense intuitively, if not explicitly, that Epstein is at the center of that world, of that extortion racket. And how deep that well goes, I'm sure I don't know, but it seems to comprise every major Western country. Every single one seems to be involved in this.
Unreal.
Yep. Yes, it is.
And what were you going to say?
Nothing. I was just looking at photos.
This
of
is just
Jimmy Savile, and he's just disgusting looking.
And when you look back at some of the
good.
footage from BBC,
Yeah.
oh, BBC's collapsing. We're not even going to talk about that. Jeez.
BBC.
I'd be remiss if I didn't discuss this H-1B visa issue that Trump had on the Ingram
okay. Yeah,
on
here.
Ingram as well. I want to go
Let me
back to
pull
that.
this up.
Can you pull up? Is that
Yeah,
it?
well, this is the clip. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's watch
I
it.
tweeted about it.
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign
but
workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
Well, we
a
have
country
plenty of talented people
no,
here.
you don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well, let me
When you
just,
and I were
I'll give you
growing
an
up.
example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made
Hyundai.
batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
It's unskilled labor. In World War II, they took actual housewives and put them in factories to build bombs. We literally did that with women. It was not competent white men that have been unemployed through no fault of their own. Like, I think we're in a way better situation now to do something like this. This is such an asinine argument. And we're not talking about factory workers anyway. We're talking about a lot of skilled laborers that are displacing our white skilled laborers in this country. We're talking about doctors, we're talking about lawyers, we're talking about people in tech. That's one of the bigger problems.
Oh, it's a huge problem. And, you know, one of the things that I feel like isn't being addressed in this whole debate is if we actually carried out mass deportations, guess what would happen?
Yeah.
Housing prices would drop.
Yeah.
Jobs would increase. Wages would increase. Basically, all of the issues that Americans are dealing with today would be solved overnight by mass deportations. No way around it. And yeah, like you can teach people how to do jobs.
Absolutely.
That's
right.
easy.
Yeah.
That's the easy part. The hard part is getting 50 million illegal aliens out of this country. And, you know, and that's to say nothing about, like, I don't know, maybe like fucking outlawing BlackRock and preventing venture capital from owning homes.
I'm just sick of everybody acting like this is impossible. Like, it's just impossible for us not to bring in hundreds and thousands, millions of Jeets to take our jobs. It's just impossible because we can't possibly teach unemployed white people how to work in a battery factory.
Bro.
The fuck is wrong with this guy?
I don't know if he's going senile or
No, I mean, I think that what Trump is talking about is the representation of conservatism that we've been witnessing for many, many years. And if you've seen what Dinesh D'Souza has been saying this week, I've been watching Dinesh D'Souza and I'm like,
dear God.
well, I've been watching Dinesh D'Souza and like a lot of times I attribute what he says to being a butthurt Indian, right? But I think that Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump and Dinesh D'Souza, they're kind of the culmination of multiracial conservatism and what that becomes. And the end stage here is Donald Trump saying like this crazy capitalist argument that it doesn't matter about the soul of the country or about the race of the country because it's all about capitalism and efficiency. And that's a real problem. That is a real problem. I did want to talk about this Dinesh D'Souza tweet, if you could pull it.
Yeah, I'll pull that up. While I'm pulling that up, though, I also wanted to bitch about capitalism for a minute.
Oh, excellent.
Because it sucks. Where am I going? Down here?
Yeah. Poop Festival.
I'm not going to play it. I'll play the Dinesh D'Souza. Which one is it?
Yeah, it's not a clip. Yeah, right there.
Okay. Poop Festival. Oh, geez. But no, I was going to recommend, it's not on my reading list, but it should be, Ethics in the National Economy by Father Henrik Pesch. The Catholic Church has never been a supporter of capitalism. We've been opposed to it. And it's a very new thing that Opus Dei has been going around pushing pro-conservative, pro-capitalist politics into the church when it's very clear from the teaching of Vix Pervenit and all back, usury is a sin. Capitalism is basically based on usury. Capitalism is a sinful system. It just it's not going to work. It's always going to lead to inequalities. It's always going to lead to exploitation.
Well, I mean, who truly is a cutthroat capitalist these days outside of staunch libertarians? I mean, I think all of us.
Yeah, you got Peter Thiel, libertarians, oligarchs.
But that's insane. I mean, their labor. I'm going on a little tangent here, but labor and capital they don't work symbiotically. It's an acrimonious relationship. So as soon as capital has the opportunity to eliminate labor in the form of AI, they're obviously going to do that because they're limited by human emotion and exhaustion and families. I mean, cutthroat capitalism is bad for our country. It doesn't serve us.
No, and it's the same with the gay rights thing, right? Because it's like, with a man that has a wife and a growing family of kids, little Jimmy needs new shoes and you're not making enough money. And so then the women will bitch at their husbands and then their husbands will go bitch at their boss. Please give me a raise.
Right.
The boss won't give them a raise. So then all the women get together and then they force the men to go on strike.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Okay. That kind of thing happens in normal society. But if you have a homosexual that isn't having kids, they're living life as a consumer, just buying a new coffee pot, buying a new child as a status symbol. These people are not of the same mindset, asking for raises,
That's an
asking for
point.
better.
That hasn't occurred to me.
Yeah, no, it's so when it comes to the importation of foreign labor, when it comes to the LGBT thing, both of those have the effect of driving down wages for white married men.
Right.
Straight up.
So Dinesh D'Souza, the reason I want to talk about this is Dinesh D'Souza, he's been a fixture in the conservative movement for, how old is he? Is he like 60?
Yeah.
For, I don't know, 40 years, 35 years.
How old is Dinesh?
And he's been widely respected. But when it comes down to it,
64.
Okay, so 40 years probably. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's been around since I've been around. I remember reading all that Clinton stuff.
Yeah, and he did a lot of good early work. But when it comes down to it, even though he was born in India, but he's lived in America his entire life, when it comes down to it, he reverts to type. He reverts to his basic tribal status. Let's go up a little bit. Okay, so the original tweet here, this went mega viral this week. After much consideration, I've decided I will not be releasing my documentary. This is not Dinesh. This is Tyler Oliveira. I'm not familiar with him. I've been doxxed, threatened by thousands of Indians over the last 2 weeks. Tens of thousands of Indians have turned my life into a living hell. My family's been attacked in ways I could never imagine. Showing up to this poop festival was the worst decision of my life, and I severely underestimated the power of India. I'm only one man. I cannot defeat the combined power of 1.5 billion Indians who yearn for my destruction. I never meant to offend Indians, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Dinesh D'Souza responded to this. It has 6 million views. How about commenting on this festival? It seems like the future belongs to the poop throwers. And here's a bar chart showing the median household income by major racial and ethnic groups in the United States for 2024, based on the latest U.S. Census Bureau data. It's Asians first. Can you scroll down a little bit? Asian, then white, non-Hispanic, then Hispanic, then black. So at the end of the day, despite all of the things that America has given Dinesh D'Souza, education, family, status, he is like, this country and the future of this country belongs to my shit-flinging people.
Unbelievable.
And that's what he is. And this is why we got in such a heated debate last week, because I worry about a movement that becomes multiracial, because at the end of the day, everybody is going to be ruled by their tribal affiliations. Look at Dinesh D'Souza. He's a high IQ Indian that has been given everything by white America, and he reverts to type in the most basic way possible. And that's why we got in a fight last week, because I don't want this. No Indians, no Haitians. Absolutely not.
Well, no, and I think that's a very valid point. I mean, I do think that we need a kind of big tent America firstism to cut the bleeding, to cut the ties with Israel, because it's very clear, like we're seeing with all this stuff with Trump, with the Bibi Netanyahu pardon, with the housing stuff. Like, who does this all benefit? This all benefits rich Zionist landowners, people that are concerned about what's going on in the Middle East. This does not have anything to do.
We didn't even mention this about the 50-year mortgage, but who is that going? That's going to be for everybody, which is going to include a lot of foreigners that are going to get entry into the housing market, and then it's just going to displace more white people. Nobody's talking about that.
Yeah, no, and
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, like we need to, I mean, and I had a discussion with one of the guys that came to our little ill-fated meetup. We got together and had coffee. But we've got a sick patient. America is a sick patient. It's laying there on the operating table. It's dying. So we have to do triage on it, right? He's got a hole in his chest.
Yeah.
He's bleeding out of his arm. Oh, and by the way, we hit him with an x-ray and we found out that his entire body is riddled with cancer.
Right. And Trump's like, let's remove this splinter.
Right. Well, I mean, on that, but like, as far as the debate that we had, you know, this whole thing with Nick and with America First and multiracial populism and all this kind of bullshit. The issue is like, okay, we're dying of cancer, but if you give an IV of chemotherapy or whatever, it's literally just going to bleed out of the hole in the arm. Right? And then he's going to die anyway.
Yeah.
So the point is we have to fix what we can fix first with what we got. And right now, Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, white Americans, fucking liberal shit libs, to the most conservative, everybody is against the parasitic relationship between us and Israel.
Yeah.
That needs to be worked out and fast. Very
we could
quickly.
also just put the patient out of his misery.
I stridently disagree with that.
Go ahead.
I think that is completely wrong. I just want to read something real quick before I get into my little spiel. Industrial technological society cannot be reformed.
Thank you, Uncle
in
Ted.
such a way as to prevent it from progressively narrowing our sphere of freedom. Thus, permanent changes in favor of freedom could be brought about only by persons prepared to accept radical, dangerous, and unpredictable alteration of the entire system. In other words, by revolutionaries, not reformers. He continues, the opportunity to go through the power process with real goals, not the artificial goals of surrogate activities, and without interference, manipulation, or supervision from anyone, especially from any large organization, is the highest good. That's from from Ted Kaczynski, and in an essay, a manifesto that we actually discuss on this show. If you haven't seen that episode, you should go back and take a look at it.
I think that was like episode 4.
A couple things to think about. The first is revolution or reform. The case that Dave is making, which is a case that I have deliberately, desperately, methodically, surgically, and otherwise passionately tried to refute my entire time on this podcast, is the idea that we can incrementally reform a system that, as he admits, is malignant. It is cancerous to the core. And we can't reform that system. That system is disintegrating in front of us. which is why we're being treated to 50-year mortgages and $2,000 stimulus checks, which are policies that if you went back even a few years, people would laugh at because they would say this is fatuous and ridiculous. But nonetheless, here we are. And why are these policies being advanced? It's because the system is careening out of control. It's because it is imploding. This is why Larry Fink, who runs BlackRock, and everybody talk in this space talks about how much of an evil genius he is. He's presiding over a giant Ponzi scheme. And that Ponzi scheme is beginning to liquidate. They're experiencing losses, of course, because it's a fraudulent business model. And that's why, under the auspices of the Trump administration, Wall Street is desperate to seize whatever concentrations of capital they can get, whether that's via stable coins or it's your 401k or it's pension programs, whatever, because Wall Street is running out of money. And their bubblenomics gambit, it's just not going to work much longer. The question, however, is what's the power process, to use Kaczynski's analogy? He calls it freedom, the highest good, to sort of pursue your power process. Well, I think the power process for us in this very troubled time is to live in our own society, to have our own communities. We, as white people who founded and built this country and founded and built Western civilization and all its various incantations and iterations and so forth, that is our power process, to live in our own country with a government that represents us and us alone. Nothing else will do. And until we get to that point, we are not going to rehabilitate or resuscitate in any meaningful sense. It is that power process that has been denied to us. Now, that raises a question about what exactly this system is, because a lot of you think that this system is a very carefully orchestrated simulation that's manipulated by a very competent cohort of elites that are operating in the shadows, right? This is a trope at this stage in right-wing circles. And I have tried to make the case, again, as expertly as I can, to categorically refute that, because it is the 180-degree opposite of that. No, these people are not terribly competent. They're just like this director of federal housing who come up with cockamamie ideas so that they can compound interest, because that's really all they know how to do. And if you accept the premise of what I'm saying, then you'll buy my solution, which is to let the system disintegrate. Now, I've said before to many of you that I'm heavily influenced by the East, in part because I spent a lot of time in China and Japan and Thailand, and I learned a lot when I was over there. And their methodology, their thought process, their worldview is very, very different than the way we think. Specifically, when it comes to something like psychotherapy. In the United States, we have a problem, we take a drug. Or we go to a shrink, and the shrink confronts whatever our psychological malady is head on. Well, in the East, that's not really how they operate. In fact, they believe strongly in self-correction. This is, in fact, a Buddhist principle that you allow the person that you're trying to mentor to push the delusion or the illusion as far as it can go so that it collapses within itself. We are in no position. I'm talking about the three of us on this podcast. I'm talking about you listening in this audience. You are not going to dissuade. You're not going to pull people out of the matrix. It's just not the way that it works. On margin, people wake up. And this show is about that awakening. But that is not ever necessarily going to be broad-based because of persuasion. It's going to happen because they push that delusion as far as it can go. And Dinesh D'Souza is part of that illusion. He is a confirmation of exactly what Rebecca said just a moment ago, which, in the wise words of another Asian, Lee Kuan Yew, who was the founder of Singapore, he put it in very stark terms. He said, in multiracial societies, you don't vote in accordance with your economic interests or your social interests. You vote in accordance with race and religion. That is what is unfolding in American politics today. And yes, the white population is slowly but surely waking up to this, but we cannot accelerate that process any more than we can vote for some octogenarian named Donald Trump to reform and save America. That's not the way this is going to go. The system, in other words, has to break. It has to collapse in and of itself. And that's exactly what it's going to do. And what we must do is facilitate the sort of, we have to awaken within that vacuum. And that's what this show is all about. We're not going to elect our way out of it. What we can do is spontaneously reorganize to prepare for that system's demolition. And whether it's the election of Mamdani, or it's the financial meltdown that I like to talk about, or it's this racial tribalism that's breaking out on the street level, there's nothing that can be done to stop that. We've got to let the process unfold and respond accordingly. Let the delusion collapse in and of itself.
No, I totally agree with you. What I'm concerned about is the ensuing chaos, because we have so many things that are converging at once. It's like, I think Mamdani represents something much larger. I think that Charlie Kirk getting assassinated, he was gatekeeping the anti-Israel stuff within the right. And I think this represents a huge victory for the left. And everything has absolutely fallen apart because there's nobody there to try to incorporate those positions into the dissident right. Trump was supposed to fix this, and he was supposed to keep it all together. He's failing. God help me, but I'm going to play this Bitcoin bro clip.
Bro, we are finally winning. We're finally winning them over. The Bitcoin bros are finally winning.
I think this guy is totally right. Yeah. Let's play Why the Young Are Going Turbo Extremist.
Here we go.
And like,
612.
so that Bitcoin has a real opportunity to free us from the endemic rot that like is the fiat system. And I like drive people around me crazy by like constantly commenting on the societal ills that fiat has created. And you can just see that metastasizing effect across society. And at this point in America, like I highly expect in the next 5 years, it's fascism or communism. It's like one of the two choices. And that's just a result of a broken money system. And it's really interesting to like watch America become like the Wiemeyer remix of like 2030s, you know, and like that's what we're gonna get. And it's pretty scary because also like the communists have like a very strong argument now of like, yeah, fuck it, like let's just seize the boomers' property, redistribute it to the youth because like they fucked us over. We'll never fucking touch Social Security. We'll never get entitlements. They're just handing out willy-nilly Medicare to everyone except for the youth. So yeah, like fuck it, let's just have a full-on communist party. Start seizing wealth across the board, start executing VCs, it'll work great. And at that point, that's when you get somebody in the far right being like, hey, they're going to kill all you guys if you don't give me radical power. So you can either sign up here or get executed by the communists. Which one?
Okay, so I don't think that Bitcoin is going to be our savior, but he makes a very good point about the mentality of the youth and how they're going to find solutions in their, especially economic hopelessness. And he's absolutely right. People are going to go turbo extreme. So my question to you guys, I mean, I think Cameron is right. I think we got to kill the patient. That's the real solution. You don't triage, you say, fuck it. You just slit the patient's throat, invest in something, invest in some baby that, is in better health. All right. But I worry about all this frenetic, chaotic energy that is going to come out of the convergence of all of these things. I'm a little worried that this is happening too fast. So what do we do with that energy? What do we do with the youth? How do we kind of streamline all of this energy that they have into something that's positive, that is going to build a sustainable and lasting future for all of our children?
Do you want me or Cameron?
Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Dave. You go first.
Well, I've got a couple of things on this, right? And so, I've been making a very strong argument. I will continue to make a strong argument for why participating in the upcoming primary is very important across the country for people to get into PC parts.
God help me.
Because of what some of the things that Cameron says, like this idea of spontaneous reorganization. Well, the country is currently geographically marked in precincts. So the goal is to find one person in every precinct across the entire country that understands what the fuck is happening in this country. And that can form the support, that can form the basis of some sort of successive government, right? People that are aware, they're politically connected, they know what's going on, they know who the sheriff is, that they can step in.
Fine, whatever.
It's a good thing to know who your neighbors are, to try to be involved locally. But yeah, as far as stopping this, there is nothing that can stop it. And as Cameron was talking, and I'm not answering your question, I apologize. You might have to ask me again. But as Cameron was talking, I've been reminded, talking about the East, talking about Buddhism, I'm reminded of something that's definitely very, Catholic, and is going to piss everybody off, but I'm going to go off about this. Back in like 1973, Our Lady appeared to Sister Agnes Sasagawa, a nun that was in a monastery in Akita, Japan. And she came to talk about a great chastisement that was coming. And part of it reads, "As I told you, if men do not repent and better themselves, the Father will inflict a terrible punishment on all of humanity. It will be a punishment greater than the deluge, such as one will never have been seen before. Fire will fall from the sky and wipe out a great part of humanity, the good as well as the bad, sparing neither priest nor faithful. The survivors will find themselves so desolate that they will envy the dead." I kind of see that. I see that coming. That's kind of where I'm at. And it doesn't make me black pill. It doesn't make me
What are
want
you
to give
talking
up.
about? That's the most bleak thing I've ever heard in my life.
Sure, it's bleak, but you still got to try, right? Like, what if you're one of the what if you're one that survives, right? Then it's on you to rebuild society. It's on you to have kids, to teach them, to raise them, and to rebuild from the ashes of this whole thing. And the thing that's like super interesting about this is that it dovetails into another Catholic prophecy that happened in 1917 called Our Lady of Fatima, which I don't know if anybody that watches this podcast even cares. But Our Lady came to
Everybody knows about Our Lady of Fatima, right?
Not everybody.
Really?
Most people don't know, actually. But Our Lady came to 3 shepherd children and said that various nations would be, quote, annihilated if Russia didn't, if we didn't stop Russia from spreading her errors. And of course, the error is communism. Mm-hmm. The error is godlessness. The error is Judaism. The Judaism that infected Russia and spread all throughout the West as a result of the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917. I view all of these things and our current problem as intimately connected. And with what we've talked about with Cameron about the collapse of the financial markets and all of this stuff, humanly speaking, we're fucked. Yeah. Humanly speaking, yes, the situation is totally fucked. But like at the same time, I don't know. Maybe there's just something wrong with me where I just don't give up.
Okay, even zooming out, not from a Catholic standpoint, the reason that people are drawn to Catholicism and religion in general is that it makes sense of the limiting condition of being human, and it makes sense of our suffering and things like that. So, I mean, a lot of what you're talking about is just that baked into the cake of life is the destruction, is the death, is the sadness, is the sorrow. And that's what all prophecies discuss.
Sure.
I mean, but we have to continue to try. I mean,
I totally agree.
No matter how bleak things get, we have to keep trying.
I totally agree. But the case that was made on that was What Bitcoin Did, I think was the name of the podcast with Marty Bent and a couple of other people. When you listen to that whole podcast, it's like an hour long. When you listen to the whole thing, they lay it out over and over and over again. The youth of this country don't have anything.
They've got nothing.
And this is something that was drawn into stark relief at this conference that I went to, this weaving conference over in Oregon over the weekend. The vast majority of young kids that came that are afraid of what's about to happen to our country, the takeover, the mass migration, all this stuff. These kids come together. They're renting. They're being squeezed out.
Yeah,
they're being replaced by H-1B.
Cameron, do you ever doom scroll? I bet not. But Cameron has probably totally eliminated
Look at his face. It's like, what's doom scrolling?
But lately there have been, and we talked about this a little bit on the show like 6 months ago, but there have been all of these TikToks of people like sitting in their car crying, talking about how they can't make rent. Mm-hmm. And I've seen this on Twitter over the last week, and the comments on these I just can't believe, like, I had to work 2 jobs and you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's just every single comment is something like that. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, go spend money on avocado toast. These people do not understand what it's like to have no economic future. Because back in the day, you could work 2 jobs, but at the end of that, you would be able to afford a home. You would have some kind of financial security. You'd be able to have a family. We're having people do all of this stuff and see nothing.
And not only that, but then we're having our leaders coming out on television talking about we're not doing enough for Israel.
Right,
and it's
right.
like you get free socialized fucking healthcare in Israel.
Like, what about
you get
our
free
people?
abortions in Israel. You get free transgender surgery in Israel.
Yeah.
What are we getting in America?
And think about what this does to the psyche of young people and what it does to their relationship with their own lives and the potential lives of their children. If they're not economically viable in future, imagine how drastically that would change the course of your life. Because if you're a compassionate person, you're going to be like, I can't bring children into this situation that I'm in. I can't even keep myself afloat.
See, that was my thought process when I was in college.
Yeah.
My thought process, I was totally antinatalist. I was like, why would anybody bring a child into this? My thought process now is like, I'm going to build a little fucking army.
Yeah.
And I'm going to teach them what I know.
Right.
And God forbid we go through a war and nations are annihilated and the living envy the dead. And if we're somehow the living, then they're going to know what's
Totally.
up.
And racial awareness
rebuild.
also helps you on this perspective. Because if you look around, let me tell you who doesn't give a shit about being poor and having kids.
Indians.
Oh, and Mexicans and black people. Mexicans, like, no one cares but white people. Anyway.
See, if I repeat it with a whisper, then maybe somebody will care.
Anyway, Cameron, do you want to get in there? Sorry, we totally hijacked that.
Look, you guys gotta invert the frame, right? What you're saying when you use this term chaos means instability, but it also means opportunity. Opportunity for what? So it's not just that our country, and when I say our country, let me be very clear. As I've said before, the United States circa 1960, you could say a little bit earlier, you could say a little bit later, we embarked on a fundamentally different path. And that path was basically to create a pluralistic society, a multi-racial welfare state. And it was stitched together based on the largesse of white wealth that has carried, for the most part, the black population in this country, and now the Latino population, and God knows what else, based on the largesse of that wealth and the institutionalization of our guilt. And that process has expanded and expanded and expanded, and now we're exhausted because the state has been completely turned against us. This is why I talk about the social contract breaking. That's why this is not really about Israel. Israel is a part of this. They're not the epicenter. The epicenter is the broken social contract. And what is a social contract? Social contract at its basic core is that the government, the authority, right, the state represents the people. It represents the ethnos. In our case, the citizenry. And that there is a profound, a legal, a mystical, spiritual difference between a citizen and a non-citizen. That distinction has dissolved. Now there is no distinction. You heard it from the president earlier on the podcast. We need this foreign group. Imagine any other country outside of the Western world saying, well, we need this, that, and the other. No country would say such a thing. They might have a limited program that brings in skilled labor. That will not confer citizenship upon you. It will not grant you property rights. It will not make you a citizen in the same way as everybody else. That's the social contract. And ours has been broken. And when a social contract is broken, that means that the state authority itself, I don't care whether it's called the Constitution or it's democracy, or it's the government of the founders, who cares? That's all bullshit. When that government ceases to represent the citizen and protect spiritually, legally, metaphysically, and otherwise, that difference between the citizen and the non-citizen, that social contract has broken. However, that's a very good thing because that means that the state can be discharged and we can create a new state. And that's what we're going to do, which is what I've talked about, a reintegration. The white population is going to spontaneously reorganize itself in this vacuum that's coming. Why are we going to do that? How do I know that? Because we've done it our entire history. That's the nature of our entire economy. Whether you look at a store, I don't know if you guys have gas stations called Sheetz in Idaho.
Oh, we have them in
they're
PA.
all over the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sheetz started in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
It's a dairy store. And then eventually it evolved into what it is today. Okay. Where it's a convenience store, it's a gas station, it's all of these things together. It's a restaurant. How did that happen? Spontaneous organization. What about Bank of America? How did that get started? That got started because of an Italian immigrant out in California. It was originally called the Bank of Italy, and it was basically furnishing loans to Italian immigrants who couldn't get them anywhere else. But that's not when the opportunity came. The opportunity came when there was an earthquake that struck San Francisco. And the enterprising Italian immigrant who ran the Bank of Italy, he kept his bank open during the earthquake and gained a whole bunch of new clients, which he then used to expand Bank of America into a national
didn't know
company.
that.
Yeah,
Spaghetti
national
nationalism wins.
franchise bank. Okay, how did he do that? During crisis. I've talked about similar vignettes from the Second War or from the Great Depression, right? These things have happened. This is the nature of the white population, not just in the United States, but across the West. Why do we do what we do? Because archetypically, we demand order. We don't tolerate instability. We don't tolerate the chaos. We won't digest it. We will demand a restoration of order. Now, this brings me to the resolution of all of this. You heard what this guy in the podcast said a moment ago. Oh, it's communism or it's fascism. Look, part of the problem that bedevils people on the right, particularly in the online right, many of whom are very smart people who have done an excellent job diagnosing the problems that beleaguer us. The Jewish power structure, the banking system, right? Zionism, multiracialism, open borders, all of these things, despiritualization, all of these things are accurate. What's the prognosis? What is the actual solution? Well, it's not to look at the past. And what bedevils us is a lack of imagination. And imagination is a second cousin of faith to some degree. A faith, a confidence that we're going to construct new things. This is why I've mentioned Bitcoin before. And I know Dave is even more evangelical about it than I am. Bitcoin is a new technology. It is something new, something different. We've never had anything that can disintermediate financial enterprise before. We've never had social media, online community and connection the way that we have today. These are radically new innovations that enable us to scale movements and reorganize ourselves in ways that cannot be contained, in ways that can bring down governments. For Christ's sakes, we just saw a president elected in 2016 without any media support, with virtually no grassroots organization. Why? Because of people like Dave Riley and Rebecca Hargraves. This is the future. This is where we are headed. We're going to have to reimagine the way that we organize, but we know that the state as structured is broken, and we're going to have to reorganize it. We're going to have to reconstruct it. Yeah, it's going to be messy. It's going to be a violent correction. There's no question about it. But ladies and gentlemen, that's why we have all of these men that are 40 and under sitting around wondering what the fuck is the purpose of their life. This is it. This is what they've been waiting for. What the hell else are they going to do? Get a 9-to-5 corporate job where they slave away for some Indian affirmative action case who's going to take their job as the VP of sales at some point and get the corner office so right before they get their 20-year pension. This is what's happening. No, that's not what these people are going to do. What they're going to do is serve as the rank and file of this restoration, this reawakening that we've talked about, which is why I focus like a laser on masculinity and particularly young men who carry in their blood, in their psyche, the true consciousness of the nation. That's what's awakening. That's what Fuentes tapped into 8 years ago, 10 years ago when he got started. That's the direction that we must go. That is the key to everything. And Mamdani's election, Trump's failure, his disappointment, this is working in our favor because it is destroying faith in conservatism, in the notion that there's a moderate middle path forward. There is none. Our path is the way forward. Awakening is the path forward. Spontaneously reorganization and a restoration of order. That is the way forward. That's the way this is going to go.
That was so reassuring because I think I'm bringing a lot of feminine energy into the solutions. Like I do this with the show all the time. Like I have to have everything planned out. I have to know what's coming next. It's just the nature of women. So to hear a man say, we're competent and we'll find a solution and we'll figure it out. That just gave me like palpable relief in my soul. I thought I was going to start crying for a second because that's what women want. They need men to be like, babe, it'll be fine. I'll figure it out. And we're like, oh, thank God, because I don't know what's going to happen.
Look, let's personalize this for the two of you. You know, you have this young girl from Missouri, right? She's pretty much a normie. She ends up in New York, right? She works in Wall Street in some way, shape, or form. She's in a disoriented mess. She falls into alcoholism. How does that young woman who's lost, who's meandering through life with no real guidance, no real infrastructure, end up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, married with kids, right? Living her best life, if you will. What about Dave Riley? More or less the same story. How did you two figure it out? If you were to go back in time and present a map to yourselves and say, this is the path forward, you both would have denied it. You never would have believed it, but it happened anyway because you both figured it out, and so will the rest.
Very true. I also want to say that there is a heap load of supernatural grace, at least in my story.
Yeah.
And probably for anybody that is, you know, I mean, I was in the middle of addiction, you know, basically dead. So,
and a hardcore leftist, right, Dave?
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, and I was
So
trying
how
to
did-
literally
how did you figure it out?
I was literally handing out copies of the Communist Manifesto at Occupy Boston in like 2010. Okay, true. That is true. It was like a Saul on the road to Damascus. Total conversion of everything. Transvaluation of all values. Yeah, but I think it's yeah. What Cameron's saying is right, and it's happening more and more. I think that this. Maybe I'm just gassed up because I went to this conference over the weekend, but I think more of that is happening. I mean, like if I'm getting invited out to one of these things here in the Pacific Northwest, this has to be happening all over the country.
All over, right? Yes. Right.
You know, and I remember during COVID too, there was, you know, once a week there'd be a different church that would host like an emergency preparedness thing where speakers would get up on stage and say, "Turn off your Bluetooth, don't bring your cell phones, they're contact tracing you, blah blah blah," and all of that sprung up out of nothing when COVID happened.
Yeah.
Now it's not happening anymore. You know, I spoke at a few of those types of meetings.
Do you know what this reminds me of? We talked with Emily Yukas on Monday about the creative process and how sometimes you'll do something creatively that's just dog shit, but then the next thing that you do is like a little more inspired, and it's building blocks until your real creativity, like the thing that you're supposed to be working on, comes to fruition, and you don't realize it while you're working on all these things. And I think maybe that's what Cameron is talking about. Like maybe everything that we're doing right now, all the growing pains, maybe it's just practice for what's about to emerge.
Look, there is a beautiful Orthodox church in Moscow. Maybe you can bring it up on the screen, Dave. It's called the Cathedral of Christ the Savior. It's an incredible structure. It's one of the most magnificent churches I have ever seen. And I've seen a lot. You know, I've been to Florence, I've been to Paris. I've seen my fair share of incredible churches across Europe. And as you both know, I really enjoy Europe, so I come here as much as I can. That structure that you're looking at right there was torn down brick by brick by the Bolsheviks. They tore the whole damn thing down. And I don't have to tell you, Bolshevism in Russia was worse than any of us can imagine. Unbelievably bad. Okay. In the 90s, I have some friends who are Russian. In the 90s, after the fall of communism, the fall of the wall, and Russia was a mess for a decade after for all kinds of reasons that we'll probably talk about in a future show. But let's just say things were pretty fucking bad. And forgive me for swearing, but it's justified because I think it was Dostoevsky who said Russia's job in the world is to show the rest of the world how bad it can get. Much worse than anything we can imagine. 30 years ago in the 90s, there was somebody walking through the streets of Moscow, and they were petitioning to rebuild that church that you just saw on the screen. And my friends who are Russians, they said, yeah, we'll give you a little bit of money, but you're not going to rebuild that. It's impossible. It will never happen. It's in ruins. This country's in ruins. We're finished. It's over. Well, as you can clearly see, not only did they survive, but they rebuilt it. Civilization is not just a building process. It is a rebuilding process. It is an iterative process. We are not so much in decline as we are figuring out who the hell we really are as a people. That's what this whole process is about, is a process of self-discovery. We are coming to grips with who we really are as a white country, as a white nation. And that ultimately is what's going to carry us forward. That's why we're going to, as they say, reintegrate with the state. We are going to enter a post-constitutional order that's going to stabilize this country. And I think we're poised to achieve even greater things than we did in the 20th century. I really believe that. We have that capacity within us. And this conflict, I think, will liberate that capability. It's not just about the building. It's also the rebuilding, as you saw in that church. Yeah. Sorry, Dave, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just going to add to it that with these prophecies of doom, right? The prophets of doom, as was it Cardinal Ratzinger, I think, called them, or maybe it was John Paul II. With on the one hand, the prophecy of the destruction of nations, living envy the dead type of thing, there is also a promise that on the other side of the conflict, there will be an age of 1,000 years,
yes.
1,000-year rule of Mary, the triumph of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, which is, and it's also so, I've been thinking about this a lot because just like last week or whatever, the Vatican came out with this ridiculous statement that we should stop using the title co-redemptrix with Mary. And it's like, what are you, stupid? Like, as if giving her a title takes something away from Christ. And it's like, what do we need right now? All of the apostles left Christ. The first pope, Peter, denied him 3 times before he was even hung on the cross. And then you have one person in the whole world, Mary, his mother, who stood there at the foot of the cross, and she was offering her son in that moment. Well, I mean, imagine watching him bleeding, as he hangs there. And so it's like, oh no, we shouldn't give Mary that title of co-redemptrix. And it's like, what do we need right now in the church? What do we need right now in society? Do we need people that are going to flee and deny Christ and deny, oh, no, that's not, or do we need people that are going to stick it out to the bitter end and give it their all?
Yeah.
Anyway, just a random,
but see, Dave,
thoughts.
that's exactly, but that's exactly the point, right? I think what you said is brilliant, because if the Catholic Church in its current construction, like the Protestants, right? I can't speak to Orthodoxy as much, but I'm sure they have their own problems. If these institutions are broken, does that invalidate the religion? Does it invalidate the faith? No, not at all. And if anything, exposing that corruption and purging it will strengthen the faith. It will strengthen the resolution of that spiritual awakening. It will improve the church. It will not destroy it. Yeah. And that analogy holds for the United States. Yes, the federal government is a mess. It's corrupt. Obviously, it's got subversive interests that dominate it, rogue agencies, and some kind of dark underbelly that I don't think we fully understand yet. I certainly don't. I don't know how deep that well goes. What I do know is that this chaos that Rebecca mentioned a moment ago, that will expose it. It will ventilate it to the world. And that means that we can extinguish the evil from below. That's what we've got to do. That will strengthen us as a country and prepare us for the golden age, as Dave said. That is exactly the point.
That's what we all needed to hear, guys. Thank you so much for that.
Get your last minute super chats in at the backlash.net/superchat.
or right here on my YouTube channel. Cameron
Or on Primal,
has stayed up really late for the show, so we're going to let him go to sleep.
if he wants.
It's been real, Cameron. Go to sleep.
Go to bed. Well, let me just check.
Okay. Good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya. All right.
Does being sick make you emotional?
Yeah, I think it does.
I want my mom, and we're going to be okay.
And by the way,
Fine.
if you are very worried about the imminent financial collapse of the American economy, you can protect yourself against it by buying gold and silver at Atlas Bullion, the internet's best dealers for gold and silver. They support our show. Every purchase you make, a very small percentage, very, very tiny percentage goes towards supporting our work here on the Backlash. So please visit atlasbullion.com/backlash. Should I do Antelope Hill too and get that out of the way?
Sure.
Not that we want to get it out of the way. We love and support Antelope Hill Publishing, who is fighting to keep history alive amidst this anti-white regime of censorship. They're equipping a new generation of dissidents with the information needed to fight the battle that we have today. Their varied catalog includes newly and updated, expanded third edition of Dr. Kevin MacDonald's Culture of Critique, the essential modern text on Jewish identity, Dr. Ricardo Duchesne's magnum opus, Greatness and Ruin, the definitive scholarly examination of European exceptionalism, as well as works by Kerry Bolton, Paul Kersey, and Josh Neal. Antelope Hill recently brought David Irving's iconic Nuremberg: The Last Battle back into print and have numerous translations of historical works from eras such as Fascist Italy, National Socialist Germany, and Civil War Spain, previously unavailable in English. There are plenty of books on contemporary issues such as transgenderism, the opioid crisis, and Christian nationalism, as well as history books, novels, and children's books. Whatever your interest is, you're bound to find books that you like at Antelope Hill, all professionally published with sleek, modern cover art. Help us and help our people by checking out companies that share our values and fight for our cause. Visit Antelope Hill Publishing today, and don't forget to use promo code BACKLASH10 for 10% off.
Yeah.
Very good. Let's check entropy because it always gives
Honestly,
me...
I cannot believe we made a show happen.
Yeah, it was good. The 1 year
Dick
anniversary
Slapperman.
show. Dick Slapperman.
It gets me every time.
Okay, let's see. Today's date is the 12th, right?
Yes.
Why are we getting... Oh, no, that's from the other show. 10. 11. Guess somebody sent a super chat yesterday. Queensboro Bridge Enjoyer sent $10. Will Stansel has 128,000 tweets along with 23,000 posts on Blue Sky.
Fuck yeah.
Currently on Blue Sky, dozens of feminists and troons are calling Will a misogynist because he randomly attacked a lady who posts about her cat. Emily could not have picked a better target.
Dude, this meta thing with Emily was so funny because we were talking about that before we went live, because sometimes I like to have some extra questions from AI, like just in case we run through the topics or anything like that. So I realized that I was asking AI to ask Emily about her AI show.
It's about a guy getting raped by AI.
Right. And then the questions I was asking were also about AI. And I was like, in this, I was like, whoa.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in an enigma inside of a riddle.
I know. I was like, oh my God, what is happening right now?
Thank you so much. Queensboro Bridge Enjoyer sent $10. Say Nothing. The Hulu TV show referenced on Monday is well worth a watch. It is based on a book describing an oral history project of those involved with the Troubles. The IRA members who participated did so because they felt betrayed by Jerry Adams. I will have to actually watch that.
Me too.
Say Nothing. Hulu TV show.
I don't have Hulu, but I do have a Chinese pirate box.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
harvesting
pay.
my data.
I don't pay for entertainment. Queensboro Bridge Enjoyer sent $10. Adams is portrayed as a young, charismatic, well-spoken leader who inspires many, only to betray them later for personal gain. This case demonstrates why anyone visibly resisting the ruling class should always be viewed with at least some suspicion. True. Even Karl Marx, right? He wrote On the Jews.
Yeah.
That his book. He was paid by the Rothschilds to write that.
And he's Jewish.
The
Have we ever talked about his disease that caused boils all over his body?
Yes, we pulled up the balls.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? He had like warts.
I have no memory of this because people don't know this, but can you imagine what that would do to you psychologically if you're like a hideous Jew and you have pustules all over your nutsack? Like,
this is the kind of content you can only get
When Cameron's gone.
When
because I'm
Cameron's
too
gone
embarrassed to say
on
this
the
in front of
Backlash.
him. But yeah, Karl Marx was, he was dealing with his own inner demons
Clearly.
and external.
Didn't they try to push that off on Hitler too, right? They tried to make it like, oh, he had a small penis. That's why he killed
And he was
all the
addicted to
Jews.
meth, and he
Yeah.
was a closeted homosexual.
Every accusation is a confession
That is true.
with these people. A real Ubermensch sent $14. Dave, you were very gentlemanly on Monday.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
he really was. That cheese was so good.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
I forget what it's. I don't know. It's my wife's favorite cheese. It's very good.
It's very
They
good.
sell it at Trader Joe's. We're not being sponsored.
I made
by Trader Joe's.
a delicious puttanesca last night.
I don't know what that is. Is that something Russian? Putin?
A
Putin?
puttanesque.
Very Putin-esque? Is that where you carve a block of
No,
cheese to
you're
look like
Italian. You should
Putin's
know.
face? I don't know. Kelly, 1488, sent $100. Thank you for the big super chat. I'm glad that there's still a show after last Wednesday's show. I don't want you guys to lose another host. But I agree with Rebecca. Race first, white altruism has gotten us to this point in our society.
You know what I will say? Thank you for that. I appreciate it. You know what I will say about Wednesday? I would so much rather work with somebody like Dave, who will every 6 months will have some kind of blow up and then everything will be fine, than that tight-assed Scandinavian douchebag that I used to work with, who will let something fester for a fucking decade, and then be like, well, you're going to take a pay cut and you're not going to pick any, like that would never happen.
No.
You would just yell at me all
No,
Italian.
I would do the Italian spaghetti
Yeah.
monster thing, and then that's
and
all
then
over.
I'd be like, okay, well, that's over.
Yeah.
And then
I
it's
hate
fine.
passive aggressivism.
Yes.
I hate it with like every fiber of my
Dave,
being.
with all of his faults, I know everyone likes to dump on Dave. He is not passive aggressive.
No, I'm just aggressive.
Yeah, and I'd actually rather have that
I'm
kind of.
actively aggressive.
I'd rather have that kind of working relationship with somebody. It's like it's the thing of like, oh, are they mad at me? Like, if you're mad at me, like I fucking know.
Yeah, no.
And I appreciate that.
It's all good. Thank you for the big super chat, Kelly. Hal, 9K sent $20. I used to watch Blonde in the Belly of the Beast, and you were the only with the sack to tell the truth. Glad to see that you're still spreading the good word. God bless you. God bless our people.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I
Thank
try.
you. Logan Orr sent $10. Most people hate Hitler because the Jews. I hate Hitler because he's a self-described socialist. Remember, socialists are bad regardless of few good things they do. Now, Logan.
Well.
Logan, that's not exactly a good faith critique of Uncle A.
It's not, because socialism.
The socialism described by like Marxian socialists.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. It's not, and it says so. He wrote it in the book. He said not to confuse our brand of socialism with the brand of socialism
Right.
over here. You got to go read the book.
And I appreciate sharing assets in a high trust, racially homogenous society where everybody has the same goals. I'm willing to pay into that system.
Well, I mean, define socialism, right? Like, doesn't it happen at the family level, right? The man goes out and works, and then his wife and children share in his benefit. Like,
It's almost as if we would call ourselves national
as opposed
socialist.
to international socialism, which is communism.
and Jewry.
There is a difference. There is a distinction, not without a difference. You got to go read the book. You know
True.
what book I'm talking about. Go read the book. Robert sent $25. Did Ingram mention the Chinese foreign exchange students getting caught smuggling in a crop-killing fungus bioweapon days before Trump called us untalented retards? I'm no math guru, but did a potential domestic bio attack just go up by like 600,000%?
I don't like Laura Ingraham because
I did not know about this Chinese foreign exchange
she banged
student
Lindsey
thing.
Graham. But
Wait, Lindsey Graham isn't gay?
that's what I've heard. I don't know. I think they dated for a while. I'm pretty sure she
That's-
dated Dinesh D'Souza too. Didn't we talk about
No.
this?
I thought that was Ann Coulter. You're
think she did
mixing
too.
her up with
Lindsey, or not Lindsey Graham.
what's her name?
Laura
Ingraham.
Ingram dated Dinesh D'Souza, but she did a pretty good job.
Mud Shark.
Are you a mud shark if they're Indian?
Oh yeah, big
Okay,
time.
Ingram and D'Souza dated and were engaged while at Dartmouth in the 1980s.
They were engaged.
Did Laura Ingram date Lindsey Graham?
This is again only on the Backlash.
Yes, they did.
Wow,
They used to date per two 1999 reports.
that's so weird.
That is just why, what,
I don't know.
why? She must be a lesbian.
Maybe.
Anyway, she did a pretty good job pushing back on Trump, who barely let her get a word in edgewise. So my respect levels of her have stayed the same or gone up.
Okay.
They're already pretty low.
Well, pretty low if she was almost married to Dinesh D'Souza.
Ooh, yeah, that's no good.
The Boomers sent $50. Thank you for the big super chat. By the way, it looks like you super chatted twice. So
We'll send one of those back,
if
sir.
you want a refund,
please shoot us an email at
net.
info@thebacklash.net.
.net. Info@thebacklash.net. If you want to, sometimes they super chat twice and
That's
they're like,
a lot of money to
Yeah,
not,
I know. That's
I'd
why
be like, you give me my $50 back.
I'm
you
saying,
fuck.
if you want the $50 back, you can have the $50. $50, $20. I don't know what you want my $10 for. $5. My lawyer will be in touch with you about the $100 that you owe me. They said $50. Hey, you guys, congrats on your 1-year anniversary of The Backlash. Your podcasts are our favorite part of the week. Thanks for all you do to enlighten your audience about what's going on. Keep up the great work. God bless you and protect you. Thank you.
We love you guys.
Yeah, thank you, by the way. I've been getting threats online from Lear Asset Management, or
really?
apparently one of the people involved with it, I guess, starts like coming at me like, if you do anything to harm the Jewish people, I'm going to be your worst nightmare, blah, blah, blah. And all this. And it's like, you're literally like going around in like body armor with guns. Like, that's a threat. You're crazy.
Why did that guy that was writing the hippies on me tell me that he wanted the Lear Asset Management stuff to clear up before he releases the hippies?
I don't know. Lawsuits. Is that hippies even going to come out now?
It's at December.
December.
Yeah. I was like, we really could use the bad press now.
We want the
if you
bad
could.
press now, not in December. Jeez. Gotta wait. Wang Half 86 and $100. Thank you and congratulations. I've learned so much from you guys over the past year. Keep up the great work. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
We do.
I hate to glaze ourselves. Can you say that? Is that?
You can glaze yourself.
Can you glaze yourself?
I think you can.
But we have really worked hard over the last year.
Full-time job for me.
We have just been putting in how many hours a week do you think you put into the show?
40 to 50 at least.
Yeah, I'm putting in probably 40 to 50 hours too into the show.
I mean, you got to do the show, then you got to transcode the show, then you got to upload it to like 4 different platforms, make the website work.
You got to do all the prep.
Negotiate with all the advertisers, try to get new ones.
You got to manage difficult personalities.
This guy right here. Absolutely.
And a big thanks to Cameron. That guy has one serious job on our show, and it's to keep us on track, and he is not fucking around.
Amen.
At our production meetings, he's got a list, and we just go through it. He just hammers them out. There's no crosstalk. There's no tangents. There's no personal anecdotes. He doesn't give a shit. He keeps us on track. Thank you, Cameron.
Thank you, Daddy McGregor.
Daddy McGregor.
Oh, jeez, that's going to get clipped. Robert sent $25. So wait, we need to preserve colleges now? What happened to ending the Department of Education? Even after the Jew takeover, these government scam schools still help produce radicals that shot you, your friend, and Christian kids. I guess you'll see them in Valhalla, fat retard. Bro, thank you for the super chat. That is so true.
Yeah, we shouldn't be preserving higher education. I mean, it used to really mean something. Like when you told somebody you went to Harvard in 1960, people would be like, oh, holy shit. Like this guy must be so smart. Now it's, David Hogg.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't mean anything, especially if you're a minority.
And, and especially in the arts and the humanities. I mean, like I remember when I was in music school, it's like I got a job offer to go work at a recording studio. And it's like, what am I going to do if I want a job? If I want a job, I'm going to play somebody a CD of music that I made or produced.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show them that I have a diploma from Berkeley. They're still going to want to say, let me hear your work.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So, a lot of this stuff. That's not to say that you shouldn't be doing the infiltrate the institutions thing, but also like, I don't know, get a good job doing electrical.
For some jobs, you have to have higher education.
We can't cede all of the ground to the left.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
for sure. Dick Slapperman sent $25. Doing dad stuff tonight, so I can't watch live, but I look forward to hearing what Cameron has to say about 50-year mortgages.
Oh, he did an
true.
excellent job. Hold on, let me read this before it disappears. Jacob Winkleman, glad Dave has found his wits. Capitalism is stupid. It is market worship. God, Jesus should be the center of the markets as a tool, not the goal. If Mary is just...
Huh?
What is this?
Theotokos. That's Mary.
You can...
Just Theotokos ecumenism in
Ecumenism.
Christianity may occur. I like it.
Okay, I don't know when this got sent. If somebody else sent something before this, please let me know and I will pull it up.
Yeah, definitely check that out. I think there is an issue with our API with Rumble Rant. So I'm on Rumble. I'm going to make sure that I read all of these. Tomahawk sent $20. I have a new boss. Unlike my old boss, he's not a complete dick. I finally get to listen to you guys while I'm at work.
Awesome.
Hey, good news. Be
That's
careful.
rad.
Do be careful. Mind your P's and Q's. Das Pooch. Oh, he sent $5. I'm reading it anyway. Love the show. Congrats on the year. Also, Rebecca, you're the only good thing about that old show.
Oh, thank you so much.
07.
Yeah. Oh, we have a bunch over here. I actually found them all.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say that I'm not angry about it anymore.
Bunch of bitching
but
about me.
I'm still really pissed. Like really, really, really pissed. 1 year it's been, and I'm still pissed.
Glamdring sent $10. The fundamental flaws of democracy are exposed. The choice before us is simply what form will the resulting tyranny take? Just like in Ghostbusters. And if we must choose, we should choose our own.
Yeah.
True. So true. Booktrack Groove sent $10. F in the chats. The last penny has been minted. Dave, any news on the Greater Idaho and Oregon DM? Greater Idaho is, I think, a scam.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure that it is about gaining access to Idaho's precious metals and resources.
Oh, I've heard this theory before. Yeah.
I'm the one that made the theory.
That's why.
I've put it out there. But I think that it has to do with getting access to capital markets, the port in Lewiston. I don't think that it's if you talk to anybody from Idaho, the case is very clear. We need to cut Idaho in half, North Idaho and South Idaho. The Mormons can have Southern Idaho. Mm-hmm. We keep North Idaho. And then over a period of like a decade or two, we have an expansionist ideology that grows, and then eventually we take over Kalispell and Washington all the way to Ellensburg, and we will make a new state, and that's what it will be.
Absolutely.
That's the way. It's not Greater Idaho. We don't need Southern Oregon. Nope. We don't need all that. I mean, they want to give it to us, I guess. Maybe. I think that does it for Rumble chat.
All right.
What about
I've got my YouTube ones up. Smashing Random Keys sent a few. What the fuck are you talking about? I thought you had a finance career. 90% of mortgages never reach maturity because people refi or move. Also, it's an optional product. You don't have to get it. AI calculators are free, freeing up money to pay off high interest debt. Has a higher rate of return. You could also literally pay the 30-year rate on a 50-year loan and pay it off in 26 years while also leaving breath room to miss the occasional payment for other emergencies. Yeah, we probably should have talked about that more. I mean, I've had 30-year mortgages that I just paid off. You can also just do stuff. You can just pay off your mortgage if you can afford it. And you can refi, you can capture low interest rates. But that's not the reason that Trump is doing this. They're doing this to scaffold a failing financial system. They're not doing it because like, oh, if you guys have extra money, you could pay it off in 30 years, so who gives a shit?
No, yeah. No, again, the real solution to the housing problem is mass deportations.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Anybody that tells you anything else is lying.
Also, no foreign investors in the housing market.
Yeah, like hello,
the Chinese own half of Seattle.
We just passed a law here in Idaho like last year making it illegal for foreign nations to own land in our state.
That's great, yeah.
So that's good stuff.
The Winged Hussar says, I will have to catch the replay or this time, but thinking about you guys and hope you reach your goal. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Babyface Nilsson, Cameron is not here, so I will read this to him next week. We sent him to bed. He looked tired. And then Jacob Winkleman, I read that one. Let me reload, but I think we're good.
Blue Eyes White Dragon sent $10 on Entropy. In a collapse, doomers just leave more work for localists. They're fixing roads, voting, food drives, and rebuilding. Action builds trust. Inaction doesn't. Doomers yelling, quote, I'm waiting for Rome to fall again before I help from their porch. Using tools there today makes the future better for all. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And that is why I believe things that I believe. That we should be involved locally. Subsidiarity. That does it.
All right,
I'm going to call that. Good. We need to give one more shout out to North Idaho Tallow Company. If you're sick and tired of skincare packed with chemicals you can't pronounce, North Idaho Tallow Company might be the ticket for you. They've got soaps, balms, and lip balm that are all made out of tallow with healthy, natural ingredients that your skin actually needs. No endocrine disruptors, no petroleum byproduct, just cow fat tallow. It's wonderful. And they've got a bunch of really great soap. They've got, by the way, a new thing. I don't know if I'm going to find it. Where is it? They have a special thing for Christmas that they just released. Do I hit all? Maybe I'll find it. Ah, here it is.
There it is.
They have a signature gift box ready to gift that you can purchase, and you can do it for a friend, for a family member. It comes pre-wrapped with a little thank you note gift card thing. It's all presented very well. So if you are lazy and you don't want to wrap a bunch of Christmas presents, go to idahotallow.com and get one of these Christmas gift boxes. It has a 2-ounce tallow balm with your choice of scent, a tallow soap with your choice, and a tallow lip balm.
All right, cool. We will see you guys on Monday. Please follow us on our X account, Real Backlash. Find all of our accounts at thebacklash.net/subscribe. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you on Monday.